With WWE announcing an injury to Cody Rhodes and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for June 5th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. In a quick update on the CM Punk situation after the AEW champion announced an injury and the need for surgery, Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported, "We are told there is no definite word yet on how long CM Punk will be out after he has surgery on his foot." AEW was aware he hurt himself after the 6-man tag on Wednesday, but didn't get the confirmation surgery would be required until Friday afternoon, a short time before last night's broadcast. While fans were concerned after SmackDown this week, thinking Shinsuke Nakamura could be injured, Ringside News wrote that the injury on the Blue brand was a work and all part of the booking. Braun Breaker, who many think is going to be the future of WWE, recently revealed that he is an avid fisher. If you have ever wanted to catch a fish, well now you can by playing Fishing Clash, which is a free multiplayer fishing game. The game is designed for those who like adventures, action, competition, and the great outdoors. You can travel all around the world and fish in different locations, from the Florida coast and the Kenai River to Lake Biwa, Galapagos, and Loch Ness. You can fish from the shore or a boat, and you can upgrade your skills for even more advanced fishing. Test your skills against other anglers, and take part in weekly competitions and events to develop your fishing skills. You can create your own clan, play with your friends and family, and compete with other players. From playing the game, I quickly noticed all the small details in the game that an avid fisher would be impressed by. The game has some of the most colorful graphics, while bringing realism, which you can only notice by playing. Use our gift code, Wrestling Hub, to get a special reward. With the gift code, you'll get a 3-star rod, 1 mythical lure, dolphin fish, 50 luck power-ups, and 30 weight power-ups to help you catch bigger fish. All of this for a total value of $20. To redeem your gift code, follow those 3 simple steps. Again, join Fishing Clash by clicking the link in the description and use our gift code Wrestling Hub. Despite her leaving the company and retiring from in-ring action in 2015, AJ Lee revealed on these sessions that Vince McMahon said she's always welcome to make a return. He was very kind. He was just like, the door is always open if you want to come back. And that to me was, I don't know, like I know it's different for some people, but to me it was so important to go out on top on my own terms. While she said not to hold your breath on a comeback to competition, Lee will be a producer and commentator for Women of Wrestling. As the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns is on top of the world. Now it seems he has achieved more, as WWE Stats tweeted, at 824, Roman Reigns has spent more total days as a reigning world champion in WWE than Randy Orton at 815. On his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T spoke about an accomplishment that eluded him throughout his career in the ring. "I can't speak for my brother, but I can speak for myself. That may be the only regret in my career, that my brother and I did not win the IWGP World Tag Team Championships. That right there for me would have been icing on the cake really for that career. I know those guys. I know what wrestling means to those guys in Japan. It's huge. It's their bloodline. And to be a part of something like that would have been great. I think the Dudleys were the IWGP Tag Team Champions, and I'm a little hot about that." During an appearance on Death, Taxes, and Bananas, The Miz spoke about what all he's endured through filming his reality show Miz and Mrs. When it comes to the worst thing to happen on the show, he said that shooting himself in the crotch didn't hurt as much as Maurice waxing my genitalia, if you will. That was the most biggest painful thing I've done on Miz and Mrs. With WWE previously struggling to sell out their pay-per-view for Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, which holds approximately 65,000 people, they have now sold out the smaller MGM Grand Garden, as WrestleTix wrote that WWE had distributed 98% of the 12,088 tickets, and yesterday's public sale moved the rest. Talking to Sports Illustrated about beating Sasha Banks at last year's Mania and defeating Becky Lynch at this year's event, Bianca Belair said, "I feel like I'm on my way to becoming Mrs. WrestleMania. It's funny, after the match at this year's WrestleMania against Becky, people were teasing me backstage saying, 'You're about to become Mrs. WrestleMania.' That's been put out in the atmosphere, and it's a really cool goal to try to achieve. Hitting that KOD, it was a huge sigh of relief. It was a long road from SummerSlam to WrestleMania. There were times when I didn't know if we'd be able to bring this full circle and get there, but we did. It was an amazing journey, not just for me, but for the fans. It's the fans that made the match. It was a match from the only two women to win the main event of WrestleMania, and we could hear the passion from the crowd. That emotion came out in the match." Suffering a concussion years ago during pro wrestling training, daughter of Mick Foley, Noelle has been left with lingering symptoms. Looking to earn money for doctor's appointments and treatments not covered by insurance, she started an OnlyFans and recently took to Twitter to write, "Almost fully decided that I'm going to travel out of the country to receive stem cell therapy. It's going to cost an arm and a leg and a butt, but I'm desperate for my health to get better, so I'm willing to try anything at this point." While he's gained a huge following since making his debut for AEW, Darby Allin's promo skills were called out by Jim Cornette on his podcast, who suggested this could hinder his future as a single star. I think honestly, Darby has this charisma, and you know he's gonna hurt himself bad, and be out of the business at some point, way earlier than he should. But now I think unfortunately without somebody that really has a plan, knows what they are doing to get behind him, and he just can't talk. Has he gone as far as he can go here without a really good booker doing something for him and not being able to cut promos? Revealing advice The Undertaker gave to him early on in his WWE career, Drew McIntyre told Sports Illustrated, "As Undertaker once told me, don't play the wrestler, be the wrestler. At the time, Taker was my mentor, a role assigned by Vince McMahon, and I had no idea what he was talking about. I was a wrestler, obviously, right? Now, almost 15 years later, I have a much different appreciation for his lessons. I know who I am every time I step out there, and I know what I'm aiming for, and that's Roman." Apparently, many trying to watch WWE content in Africa and the Middle East can no longer access older shows or programs, as many have made their issues known, with fans writing, "Dear WWE, can you please reconsider your deal with Shahid VOD for the exclusivity of your content, because up until now, they didn't provide any other programs except for premium live events after Elimination Chamber 2022. How can I watch Broken Skull Sessions and other WWE Network exclusives through Shahid? I have the Shahid app and I registered the VIP Sports package. All it shows me is Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and pay-per-views. I'm stuck. The whole setup with Shahid is very poor. Most of the content is missing from what was on the WWE Network, but they don't seem to understand the problem. They just try to get you to upgrade to VIP package. Don't do it until it's fixed. Dear Shahid, as you stop the WWE Network from broadcasting in our area, my question is, what did you give us WWE fans in the Middle East? There is no WWE Network, no WWE original content, no WWE library, as you told us." WWE legend and Hollywood superstar The Rock took to Instagram to show his mom's reaction to getting a new house, with him writing, "Love you, Mom, and surprise. When I was a little boy, I hated when my mom would cry. These days, I'll happily take her tears of joy. I surprised my mom and bought her a new home. Took me and my design team 8 weeks to get it ready, where she could walk through her front door for the very first time, and everything she saw was brand new and a total surprise. I've been lucky enough to have bought her a few homes over the years, but this one is special, as she's told me over and over these past few years. After a lifetime of traveling, I want this home to be my last. That's my dream. Mom, there's no greater feeling than to make you happy. Welcome home. I always say, if you got a good mom, then you got a shot at becoming a good, caring human being. Let's all give our mamas a big grateful squeeze this weekend and make them happy." Taking to Instagram to post a video from SmackDown with himself, Kofi Kingston, and Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods mentioned how long he's been feuding with Sheamus and his crew. King's Log yesterday counted the 14th week that we have fought Sheamus, Ridge, and Butch. That's more than a quarter of this year. Once we are rid of them, I can focus on Ricochet and the IC title. But for now, we walk for miles inside this pit of danger. With IWGP US Champion Juice Robinson pulled from the Best of the Super Juniors 29 final earlier in the week, it seems he's unable to compete at the upcoming Dominion event and defend his title against Will Ospreay and Sonata in a three-way. Impact Wrestling's X Division champion would chime in writing, "If Juice can't defend at Dominion, maybe there should be an X Division title match instead. I'm willing to defend my title and my spot in Ultimate X at Slammiversary." Ahead of his final match on July 31st for StarCast, Ric Flair can be seen once again training with Jay Lethal, this time taking a bump from the top rope. The Nature Boy would also share a video showing off the rope he'll be wearing in Nashville. While former NXT champion Io Shirai has been out of action, Fightful has confirmed that she is injured. Shirai has been out of action for 2 months since NXT Stand and Deliver and hasn't been seen on NXT TV. After numerous inquiries over that period, a WWE source confirmed that she's been sidelined with an injury, but didn't elaborate on the severity of it or what it was. They also confirmed that for the time being, she'd not be factored into creative plans in any way. Last night during a WWE live event, Cody Rhodes was supposed to wrestle, but it was announced that he had suffered an injury and was replaced by Drew McIntyre. McIntyre would beat Seth Rollins as Cody came out after to chase him out. Cody Rhodes is set to face Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell, so it's safe to assume that the company is taking precautions to avoid losing their main event for tonight's pay-per-view.